In this video, we're going to talk about AI agents again and specifically focus on frameworks. So by the time you get to the end of this video, you're going to have a good idea of what crypto AI agent frameworks we have today. And we'll cover a variety of different examples of some of the ones that we have today and what they have to show. So we'll cover what they are, how they work, some of the well-known ones, and of course some of my personal bets as well. And you can see the image that I have on screen right now. This is the mindshare of AI agents today. Almost 50% of everything in crypto that we can see right now is all focused on AI agents. It's definitely the narrative right now, and that's why I think it's probably one of the more interesting things. Yes, I love lots of other things. Yes, I love DeFi. Yes, I love Chain, but I think crypto AI agents are certainly right up there when it comes to what you should be paying attention to. And so this is why this video is going to be really, really interesting, because you need to know what frameworks exist and how to bet on them. So what actually are they? Well, essentially it's infrastructure that helps you build these autonomous AI agents. It is the base layer. And now agents can be flexible in design, and it's based on the frameworks that are used to create them. So different frameworks equal essentially different agent training or models. And there's many, many different types of them, but the key properties are the same, right? Generally, not always, but generally they're open source. They're built on blockchains or built using blockchains. And so these agents can be launched, on blockchains themselves and interact with various different parts of blockchains. And they also enable you to spin up agents in a very quick period, sometimes even 15 minutes. Now, I think frameworks or agent frameworks are the layer one chains of AI agents. And so they are like these base layers. You can have a framework and you can launch millions and millions of different agents that all do different things on them. Just like, for example, the Ethereum blockchain, where you can have millions of different apps and smart contracts that can do things on the Ethereum network. Similarly, same kind of thing, in my opinion. And so because of this, I think actually from a speculative perspective, I think the tokens that are associated with the AI agent frameworks should actually trade at a premium compared to the individual agents themselves. I think so. No financial advice, of course, but I think purely just from that logic alone, I think infra generally trades at a premium for now. Yes, you do have individual agents that are very, very interesting that can do very cool and unique things. AI XPT is one example of this. But I think in general, the frameworks, especially the ones that are enabling these more sophisticated agents to be built, are where the value lies. So we're going to go through a variety of different ones. We're going to start off with some of the more popular ones, but also some of the more uncommon ones as well. We'll talk about what they are, how they work, how you can use them, blah, 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 blah. I think you'll find this useful, hopefully, though. So we'll start off with the ELIZA framework. This is by AI16Z. ELIZA, the operating system for AI agents, right? It's a TypeScript-based framework built by AI16Z for creating agents that can do all kinds of tasks. That can be things like trading. That can be things like running a social media. You've probably seen a lot of these agents that are constantly tweeting, right? Main thing here, they're open source, it's versatile, it's composable, and it's the most used framework today. This is a chart basically showing GitHub activity and stars history, I should say, GitHub stars, I should say. This orange or red one, whichever one you want to call it, is AI16Z. By far the most used framework on GitHub at the moment. And these are just a list of some of the different plugins that it can offer right now. You've got TEs, you've got Coinbase integration, Solana plugins, other L1 chains, whether it's Aptos or Near or Multiverse or Sui, whatever. IP via story protocol, NFT creation functionality, image duration. I mean, there is a lot going on here. Even WhatsApp plugins and video generation stuff. You can customize your agent with these plugins however you want. And that is one of the great things. And there's more and more frameworks and more plugins, I should say, being added to ELIZA every single week. And this is one of the reasons why it's become such a popular use case. One of my favorite agents that has been built using this is called Talis. I've talked about this in previous videos as well. It is built using the ELIZA framework, and it can use these different plugins for its own benefit. Now, this gentleman, Ijaz CryptoPunk7213, definitely recommend following him. If you're wondering why AI16Z is valued at 1 billion, the superpower isn't the framework ELIZA, it's the ability to attract the top AI engineers to build on it. This is why it's the #1 trending GitHub repo in the world right now. Open source development at its finest. It is really, really good. Now, of course, I'm not a developer. I can't really say if it's really good. I'm just using other people's experience and just basically paraphrasing it. But I can see that it's pretty good because of all of these different plugins that you can use. And I think there's clearly some demand for it right now, and it's the most composable and famous framework right now. Now, there is a Solana AI hackathon happening right now, and a lot of the agents that are being built from stuff like this are using the AI16z framework. The ELIZA framework by AI16z, I should say. So this is ELIZA. You can certainly read up more on it. Maybe I'll do a more deep dive video if you guys are interested into any of these specific frameworks. But I think in this one, I just want to cover a bunch of them just so that you guys can understand what they are and how they work. So we'll move on. We'll talk about Game by Virtual. It's this low-code, plug-and-play modular framework for creating agents specifically in agent commerce and gaming. And so agents created using the game framework can actually be their own autonomous agents in games, I should say. And that is very, very, very cool. So yeah, they released this not that long ago, maybe just a couple of weeks ago with the game framework. Yeah, I think this one is cool because of this. So first things first, there was a playable autonomous world kind of game on Roblox, and agents can be built using this framework that you can then use to create characters in this game. And this is why it's really, really interesting, because if you imagine, if you're using an AI agent as maybe some of the characters in a game, technically every single game that people play of this is going to be different. There's going to be different storylines, there's going to be different scenes, there's going to be different dialogue. This is all due to the fact that we're going to be having agents as NPCs in the game, and they're going to be using their own training to kind of come up with new stuff for you. And I think this is going to be, as mentioned here, games that have infinite replayability because there's just new stuff happening, never-ending games. This is wild, in my opinion, really, really wild. And I think one of the reasons why the game framework is really taking off right now is because you can integrate it into Roblox already. So this is the game framework by Virtuals. I mean, the future of gaming is going to be pretty insane when we reach this stage. Yeah, really, really mind-blowing. Right, Zerifree by Cerebro. It's a Python-based framework by the Cerebro team to deploy your own agents on social media like X. It's a modularized version of Cerebro backend itself. Main focus really here is for creating those agents that want to have autonomous licensing for IP. Maybe they're a little bit more creative. They can do things like creating music. The original like beta release will be fairly basic, I think, with posting tweets, replying to tweets, liking and retweeting and fetching tweets from a user page. But I'm really more interested in kind of some of the more creative stuff that agents built with this framework will be able to do. We've seen Cerebro create albums and really, really get a lot of fame from it. Spotify music is getting a lot of listens. That's what the Cerebro agent itself did. But I'm interested in seeing what kind of stuff happens. Now, this is actually scheduled to launch Friday the 20th of December. I put it a little bit earlier on in this video. We're going to go through quite a few different frameworks because Cerebro is live. It's got a token already. You can trade it. And we're kind of seeing it integrated already with like some certain platforms like VVAIFU, where you can actually use this platform to create agents using this framework. So yeah, just wanted to mention this one. This is one that I will be keeping an eye out just to see how it looks and how these agents that are built with this are going to be in due time. Next, we have Rig by Playgrounds. This is one that also is getting a lot of traction right now when you look at GitHub activity. Now, this is a little bit different to Zerify or Zerify. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a little bit different because this is actually a Rust-based language framework. Now, Rust is apparently meant to be a better language for AI agent development. There's some technical improvements with like reduced latency, reduced runtime overheads, more predictable performance, some more expressive language. It's more modular. It means that agents that can be built on rig, I should say, that haven't really been seen yet. So yeah, this is more about Rust itself and the language. And Ajaz, as I mentioned before, I'm just gonna use his comments. Rust is a much leaner language, which means less tech debt builds up over time versus Python or TypeScript. So it's easier to build agents on other frameworks, but in the long term, Rust-based agents should theoretically outperform. So this is interesting just based on that. Again, I think we're very early in terms of any interesting individual modules or agents that have been built with this framework, but people are really trying to do stuff with it, and that's why you're seeing this activity. Next, we're going to talk about Xbox, and this is by the NIM team. This is a framework that's used for large-scale fine-tuning. And so the networks, they have a network and they have lots of different nodes, and they conduct large-scale data collection, perhaps data scraping, etc. And the data is used to fine-tune new agents that get built using this framework. And this is really, really interesting because it does have a few different benefits over, let's say, the ELIZA framework or the Virtuals SDK or the game framework as well. Really around fine-tuning. And I think this is a pretty interesting thing. Large-scale data collection can fine-tune these agents. So these LLMs can be very, very, very specific. And that's going to be pretty cool. And they have some interesting tokenomics as well, which I probably won't go into too much detail just yet. But what is interesting is seeing like this fine-tuning in effect. And so with one of their agents, they've been able to basically front-run Truth of Terminal and post an identical tweet before Truth of Terminal has done, but with even more detail as well. And you can see this directly here, actually. And this is so they've just been able to fine-tune these LLMs with their framework. And so, yeah, I'm really keen to know what kind of new standards are coming and kind of what cool things can be used. Who's actually going to be building with this framework as well. But the NIM network are quite a big network, so I assume that there probably will be something going on behind the scenes right now. We'll be keeping an eye on this agent as well. So yeah, there are ways to speculate on this too. Next, we'll talk about MyShell. MyShell is a Python-based framework, one-step tooling, no-code solution. I think this is really focused on, like, let's say, retail guys to kind of get involved with agents. Maybe you want to create your own agent, and you can do so directly on their website right now. No code needed. You can kind of train it directly on here with prompting. These agents can also be monetized through the MyShell App Store as well. So you can earn some revenue for doing this. Agents involved here are able to do stuff with gaming, image processing, video generation, whole range of different tooling. And I think this is why it's one that's worth watching for sure. I mean, these guys raised a ton of money. They are like heavily VC backed. They've created a really, really good application that works. Lots of people are using it. And I think it's a framework that people can use very, very easily. So yeah, there are ways to actually farm this. There isn't a token for MyShell as of yet. I'm assuming there probably will be at some point in future. But yeah, this is another one that I think is really, really cool right now. Oh, now this is one that I really like. This is Agent Studio by HoloWorld. And I like this because I love agents that are a little bit more visual or a little bit more you can actually see the value, right? I think text agents are great as well, but I love visual stuff. This is why I make videos too, right? So HoloWorld create like these 2D, 3D avatars. They're working with like some really, really big brands, the likes of Bored Ape Yacht Club, Pudgy Penguins, essentially agentifying, if that even is a word, these like characters. And now with Agent Studio, you can actually create your own agent avatars, 2D, 3D. You can give them voice. You can let them like create short videos. That can be things like ads or talking videos or like TikTok style stuff, brain rot TikToks. They can have images. They can have live streams. They can, post themselves on like TikTok, X, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. So this is really, really cool. And I wonder if we're going to see like a bunch of, let's say, NFT collections really try and collaborate and kind of create their own 3D agent avatars here. Here's an example, right? They're working with Nifty Island. Look at this. It's an AI XPT avatar. This is like the 3D rendered version of AI XPT's graphic. And this is like really cool, I think, like in creating like audio or like visual agents. So I really, really like this one. They're also working with the Solana AI hackathon right now. So hopefully there's some cool individual agents that are built using this framework. But yeah, because of that, I'm really, really keen on following like what happens with Hollow World and what they're cooking up right now as well. So yeah, this will be quite cool. Yeah, this is basically how this framework works. You can actually go on Hollow World and kind of play around with some of the agent tooling stuff that they have right now. I believe you can actually create some of your own right now as well. So here are some of the ones that are launching soon. Some of them, maybe the frameworks are live, but there isn't a token. Some of them, there is a token, but maybe the framework isn't live. Maybe both, at times, both of them not live. Let's first start off with Nexus by Thales. So Nexus is designed to transform how these AI agents operate on chains by giving them financial autonomy. They can do things like DAO decision making, they can do DeFi stuff, they can do gaming, really built with developers in mind. This is like one of the interesting things. They're actually built with Sui's Move VM. And the Move stack's really interesting because they have this object-based model. It's pretty good for developers actually, especially those coming from Web 2 into Web 3. Move has pretty good performance as well. So yeah, this one's going to be a really, really interesting one. So Thales Network themselves are live. Token not yet, but I think there will be a Thales testnet coming fairly soon, potentially. Maybe it's around the corner. So I think this is going to be a really, really interesting upcoming agent framework layer. We'll see kind of how developers take this on with the Move VM stack, but I think this one's going to be pretty cool. We also have Agent Pi, which is this like Python-based Solana-focused framework, really for kind of AI agents doing like token operations. That includes like checking token balances or sending tokens, staking tokens, creating new tokens. It's integrated in Jupyter too, so it can actually do trading. Really DeFi focused, so it can do like farming. Maybe it's using Camino or MarginFi or Meteor or Radium or Parcel or any of those kind of protocols, Jito as well. But yeah, hopefully we kind of see some cool agent stuff built on top of that. Maybe by the individual DeFi protocols themselves. Maybe they'll want to use Agentipi. I don't know how you pronounce that one either. And last but not least, we have AgentKit. This one's built by the Coinbase dev team. You see Mr. Brian Armstrong himself tweeting about it, really creating agents that are focused around the base ecosystem. It uses LangChain, and LangChain is integrated with Gmail, internet browsing, dozens of kind of Web 2 APIs. Main features at the moment, basically doing trades, transfers, basically launching tokens. You can actually integrate it with other like LangChain APIs, I guess. So this one will be interesting. Again, I don't think there's much in terms of actual individual agents that are unique and really interesting that have been built on here just yet. Nor is there a token for AgentKit. I guess it's just Coinbase, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong there, but just another one that I think is worth paying attention to. So yeah, I think that really covers it. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail into all of these individual ones. Rather, I might do that in like specific videos covering, let's say, Eliza, or covering maybe game, maybe those in more specific videos. But I think in general, I just wanted to give you like an overview of how some of these agents work, what some of them offer, and why these frameworks, I should say, are interesting. So yeah, I'll have some more videos in due time, but for now, that's all we'll cover. So yeah, more agent videos coming. If you like this video, support me.